Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever wondered what really separates a good workout from a great one? Well, it's not just about how much you sweat, it's all about strategy. Today, we're going to deconstruct the science behind effective training so you can stop just going through the motions and start building with real purpose.
All right, let's get into it. Here's the game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with that big choice, strength or endurance. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty with the 1-rep max rule, check out the tools of the trade, and see how to put it all together in a smart circuit. We'll even look at a real-world example before we wrap up with the amazing long-term rewards for your body.
So, first things first. Before you even pick up a weight, you have to answer one fundamental question that's going to shape everything else you do. Think about it. Are you training to be the person who can lift something incredibly heavy just one time? Or are you aiming to be the person who can just keep on going and going? This one choice, right here, dictates everything that comes next, from the actual weight you lift to how many times you lift it.
Okay, so let's break this down. Muscular strength is all about that one single all-out effort. Like a massive deadlift. It's pure, explosive power. Muscular endurance, on the other hand, is all about sustainability. It's about how many push-ups you can crank out or how long you can carry those heavy groceries. One is the peak of the mountain, the other is a long, steady plateau. So, how do we take these ideas and turn them into a real scientific plan? Well, it all boils down to one absolutely crucial metric that's going to act like your own personal training compass.
Meet your 1-rep max, or your 1RM. This is your golden number. It's the absolute 100% limit of your strength for any given exercise. Think of it as your personal North Star. From here on out, every single weight you lift in your plan will be based on a percentage of this number.
In this table right here, this lays out the two paths perfectly. If you want to build pure strength and get that muscle growth, what scientists call hypertrophy, you've got to lift heavy. We're talking over 70, maybe even 80% of your 1RM for just a few reps. But if you want endurance, you flip the script entirely. You lift lighter, less than 60%, for a much higher number of reps, maybe 12, 15, or even more.
Okay, now that we've got the principles down, let's talk about the tools. What are you actually going to be lifting?
In most gyms, you're looking at two main options. On one side, you have free weights, things like dumbbells and barbells, and on the other, you have fixed resistance machines, which guide you through a very specific path of motion.
And this really shows you the trade-offs, right? Free weights are awesome. They're super versatile, and you can really zero in on specific muscles. But you have to know what you're doing to avoid getting hurt. Machines, on the other hand, are much safer and really easy to use, which makes them perfect for beginners. The downside, you're stuck with whatever the gym has, and you might have to wait in line.
All right, we know our goal, we know our intensity, and we know our tools. Now, let's put all the pieces together into one of the most efficient workout methods out there, circuit training.
The idea behind a circuit is so simple but so effective. You basically just move from one exercise to another, hitting different muscle groups along the way with almost no rest in between. It keeps your heart rate soaring and lets you get a fantastic full-body workout in way less time.
And designing your own is just a simple 4-step process. First, you set your goal. Then, you pick your exercises. And then, and this is the most important part, you define your work-to-rest ratio. This ratio is basically your intensity throttle. The more you work and the less you rest, the tougher it gets. It's completely customizable to whatever you're trying to achieve.
And you can see it right here. A great circuit is dynamic, it's interesting, and it's varied. You can mix in bodyweight stuff, free weights, machines, even some cardio, all in the same session. It is, without a doubt, one of the best ways to keep your training from getting stale and to hit your whole body efficiently.
Okay, so how does all this theory actually play out in the real world for a real athlete? Let's get specific and break down what a competitive netball player really needs from their training.
See, for netballer, it's not enough to just be fit. They need very specific skills. They need that explosive power to leap up and snatch a ball out of the air. And they need lightning-fast agility to pivot and dodge a defender on a dime. This is where truly targeted training makes all the difference.
So to build that insane jumping power, their training would be all about plyometrics. Think of exercises like bounding or depth jumps. The whole idea is to train your muscles to act like a rubber band. You stretch them, store up all that energy, and then release it in one explosive, powerful burst. And for that critical agility to be able to weave around opponents, they'd use something called SAQ training. That's speed, agility, and quickness. These drills directly mimic the quick, reactive movements you need on the court. And you can even build these drills into a circuit, turning each cone drill into a station, directly linking their training to how they'll actually perform in a game.
Now, the cool thing is, the benefits of this kind of smart, targeted training go way beyond just winning the next game or hitting a new personal best. Over time, you are fundamentally rebuilding your body from the inside out.
So on the left, you're literally seeing that muscle hypertrophy we talked about. When you do strength training, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers. And when your body repairs them, it doesn't just patch them up, it makes them bigger and stronger than before. And on the right, look at what happens to your bones. Resistance training actually tells your body to pack more minerals into your bone tissue, literally making your entire skeleton denser and more resilient.
So here's the bottom line. Once you understand these core principles, strength versus endurance, how to use your 1-rep max, how to structure a smart workout, you move beyond just exercising. You have the blueprint. You can start training with intelligence and intention to build a stronger, more powerful, more resilient version of yourself. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?